ay, yeah, ay, 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 yeah, ay, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. They rewrote the meaning of we the people, turned the citizen king into a serf, built a throne behind a marble steeple, and told us what our loyalty is worth. They call this freedom, but it feels like chains. We're just tenants on the land we own. The government's the sovereign and much is plain, and we just left to fight over the bones. The biggest issue, the man in the robe who says the law applies to you but not to him. He's immune from any probe. He shields his staff, his friends on a whim. The gavel strike is us, the hammer block. To the First Amendment's fivefold shield. The right decide petition, they just say no cause, but the evil's united. It laughs as the world rattles. They stand in their common defense, their own laws. We have to give up the battle. We have to join to win the war. They took the Ninth Amendment, tore it right in two, said have a right till we tell you you do. We ever knew was just a suggestion they could misconstrue. How did we get here? How'd we get so blind? A public so we be too dumbed down to the fine print in their rigged up game. But we are divided, fighting our own battle, yelling at shadows, lost in the cause. Whoa, but the evil's united, laughs as the world rattles. They stand in their common defense, behind their own laws. We have to give up the battle to join to win the war. We have to join to win the war. Red cars, blue cars, blue cars, your cars. They throw us scraps and we fight like dogs. They're all united in that high up hall, while we bicker down here in the fog. They watch us bicker. They watch us fall. They watch us fall. They watch us fall.
face and another grudge. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. They bleed us out in the family court. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Paper cuts. Paper cuts. I used to hold you every night. Now I hold a stack of files. I used to kiss your sleepy head. Now I pay for every mile. They say best interest of the child while they pocket every pound. They turn love into legal war till there's nothing left to fight for. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Death.
Tiff and the Punisher, they won't back down. Fight for the children in every town. They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services, here's your real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, God damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop it.
Hey, Tiff. We're real. We're back. I've come
Yeah,
off my deathbed.
yeah, and I want to apologize. I had an emergency come up Friday. Darren was sick. His favorite fan got sick.
Yep, he was down. Everybody was down. It
Yeah,
was tough.
so I want to apologize for that, but I also want to say thank you to everybody that prayed for my family. My dad is home. For those of you who don't know, my dad was in within hours of dying from hypothermia, a punctured lung, and 4 broken ribs. Um, but he's
He's the
home.
toughest son of a bitch on earth.
Yeah, and I
Let's not even downplay this. That dude laid outside in the Texas winter or whatever they call it there for 38 hours, waiting for someone to come and help him.
yeah,
38 hours.
yes. Um, and I know he's doing okay because he said, "God damn it, Tiffany, I got this bed sore on my ass." I said, "You're feeling just fine."
Oh, it's okay. I'll make it.
Yeah. So
All
thank
right.
you for everybody. And yeah, we did make it. Um, you got sick. I think my husband's getting it now. My 2 little ones had it.
Oh no,
So
you're the
we're
last one
back
standing.
today.
Here we are, and we got a great guest tonight too. I just met the guy just a little while ago, and it was a godsend. But I mean, he's awesome. He's got a lot of things going for him. Today's his 1 month for his nonprofit that he started. Um, he's got a lot of good stuff coming up, and I don't know enough about him to even give him a proper intro. So I'm gonna let Jonathan come out here himself and do this because I don't want to mess anything up because the guy's pretty solid. Jonathan, welcome to the Tiff and Punisher show.
Hey, yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us, man. Tell us about the empire you're creating.
Yeah, well, empire. No, I'm trying to put the power back in the people, really, because we really shouldn't need an emperor or anything like that. And so what I've done is I created specifically a nonprofit called the Institute for Family Justice, where we advocate for the rights of children to have a meaningful relationship with both of their parents. And so our end goal is to be doing pro bono appellate representation for issues we think need to go to the Supreme Court to get case law in favor of the relationship that parents and children deserve to have. And that is a fundamental nature of being a human or being alive. And so, in addition to that, I've built some great tools for parents to use to help them navigate family court because, going through divorce, going through family court is very difficult. It's a very complex situation. And, not every attorney is very good at explaining things to their client. And when they are, that still costs exorbitant amounts of billable hours. And so the fees are just through the roof. And so what I built was a platform that parents can use where they could take all of their case files, all of their evidence, all of their communications, and we put it into a timeline. We analyze it with different types of AI. We do strategy based upon what they've been through and where they're going. And we really help put the power of litigation in the hands of the people by providing the tools that they need to succeed.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff, man. I mean, we got the same thing that we've built here too, and it's awesome that we're taking the goods of the AI stuff and we're giving it back to the people, man. That's what needs to happen because, and I'm honestly, man, I'm glad there's people like you and I that are coming out with these things because in the wrong hands, the people would never get a hold of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's not meant to break parents. It's not meant to hold them away from getting the knowledge. The bottom line is getting these damn kids home, period. That's
Right,
it.
period.
And
Yeah, that's the most important thing is restoring the family.
That's it.
Children are literally our most important asset as a society. And if we don't take care of them, we don't have a society to speak of.
No, we do not. And like that is I mean, whether we come back reincarnated, I'll tell you what, the way that it was going with all the addictomies and the tropomophomies and all of that stuff that they were trying to promote. I mean, I don't know if I would want to be reincarnated in this next life, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like the way that this place was going, and we've got short time to make big work happen. Like that's the truth of the matter. This thing's getting out of control. We really thought that when Trump got into office that there was going to be a big soaring hand of his to come in and help out with what was going on, and I don't know, man. It kind of seems like this administration, we're seeing some taillights coming, you know? Like, and when anybody talks about CPS too, they don't talk about what all of us are talking about. They talk about what happened to the kids that died, that got missed. Well, we're talking about what about the 90% of the kids that got taken illegally? That's the problem. The problem isn't the ones that got missed. Maybe if they weren't taking 90% of the kids, that didn't need to be taken and get ruined, maybe they would have caught that 1% or 2% that they missed that ended up dead, and I don't know if this administration's quite catching that, man. I don't know at all. So again, the ball seems to be back in our court to educate the people and get people, realizing that, or it's up to us to just get this goddamn thing abolished, and that's really what needs to happen.
Yeah, it's out of control. Part of the big problem that's going on there is that the idea that these people have been given immunity,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I can go into that real quick. We could talk about that. Let me come
Sure.
over here. And so, when the Constitution was written, everybody's familiar with the First Amendment, but in most places, they don't seem to know all the details of the Fifth Amendment. And there are 5 separate provisions inside of the First Amendment, with the fifth provision being the most underrepresented and probably one of the most important. And so I have that highlighted right here. And the 5th provision of the First Amendment is for the people to be able to petition the government for a redress of their grievances. And what that basically means is when you go to court, you file a petition. What do you file a petition for? A grievance. What do you want? A redress. You want an outcome. Okay. And so it's very standard practice stuff. You go to court, you want the court to fix what's wrong. And so you had this right to petition the government to make changes for your grievances. And then the framers had so much forethought that they knew that things like to go afoul, and they like to get away from what they're supposed to be. So they included the 9th Amendment, the most underrepresented and almost completely eviscerated amendment to the Constitution, which specifically says that the people have the right, that as the Constitution grows, they cannot take away your rights. They can only make them stronger. And so it specifically says the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. And so basically what that means, as the law grows, as the Constitution grows, they can only make the rights of the people stronger. They cannot make them weaker. And the Supreme Court enforced this in a case in 1973 under Chisholm v. Georgia. And they said specifically, of course, a citizen of another state can sue another state for a problem. If that state had hurt them, of course they can petition them for a redress of their grievances. Well, when that happened, all the politicians in power were very scared about losing their power and their control, and they enacted the most unconstitutional amendment that we know of, or that we have, the 11th Amendment. When the 11th Amendment was passed, when it was ratified, it made the states immune against suits from the people. Well, we can't do that because the people have this First Amendment right to petition the government for grievances. Then we have the 9th Amendment that says, as the Constitution grows, you can't make the people's rights any weaker. You can only make them stronger, which means the 11th Amendment really should not exist and needs to be removed from the Constitution. We need the Supreme Court to remove the 11th Amendment from the Constitution because it violates the enumeration clause, the 9th Amendment, against the people's right to petition the government for grievances. And then after that, it got even worse. So the courts decided in the case Bradley v. Fisher about 100 years later that not only were the states immune, but they were also immune. They were also immune even if they're acting maliciously or corrupt. And the court's doctrine of absolute immunity, they love to give to their friends. And so when they have people acting as friends of the court, doing work for the court, whether it's CPS, whether it's guardian ad litems, these people that work for the court are also granted this immunity, even if they act maliciously. Well, this is extremely unconstitutional. And the courts, when they did this, they decided that they were going to go ahead and adopt this English common law maxim that the king can do no wrong. Okay, and that was part of the English common law. But when we came over here, we knew there were things about the English common law we didn't like, which is why we have the First Amendment, because we have the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Why? Because we know the king can make mistakes, which is why the 11th Amendment and Bradley v. Fisher have to be overruled and stricken from the record because they are an absolute travesty and have allowed so much tyranny to rape and pillage this nation. It's incomprehensible.
Oh man, that's some stuff right there. Tiff, what's your thoughts on all of that, huh?
Well, I agree, first of all, but the 11th Amendment does not grant anyone but the state sovereignty and immunity, right? Judges and the immunity that they have, they gave to themselves.
You're right about that because Bradley v. Fisher came after the 11th Amendment. And the Supreme Court has interpreted the 11th Amendment to also include citizens suing the state that they reside in, because the 11th Amendment specifically states it says citizens of another state, right? But they also have decided that includes the citizens of that state. And so the Supreme Court has overly broadly interpreted this amendment to include all citizens and all forms of government are basically immune from the people. And then later on, they did, under Bradley v. Fisher, decide that they were immune under an English common law maxim because the people apparently forgot that they have this First Amendment right to petition the government for grievances.
Wow.
Well,
So
they
that's
can
the problem.
be sued in their individual capacity because if they violate your rights, that's a crime, and they're not immune from criminal prosecution.
A lot of times that they are. So if you try to sue them, well, first off, if you're going to try them criminally, you have to have a sheriff that's willing to arrest a judge, as well as a prosecutor that's willing to prosecute a judge. And a lot of times these people, because they've been granted immunity, they're in cahoots together, and there's some form of RICO enterprise going on the deprivation of the rights of the people under some form of color of law.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting enforcement of this is very, very difficult in the current status because of this immunity they've given themselves. And it's very difficult to sue a judge or a prosecutor or a sheriff because they like to say that they have immunity. And the Supreme Court says, well, they have immunity unless they are violating clearly established law. And so how clearly established law is, if one police officer comes to your shop while doing an investigation and they steal an orange, well, they weren't told they couldn't steal an orange yet, so it wasn't clearly established law. And so you can't hold the police officer accountable, and he gets a pass, a get-out-of-jail-free card. And they like to distinguish apples from oranges. So if that same police officer comes back to your store and he steals an apple, well, you go, oh, right, well, he's not allowed to steal oranges, of course, but he stole an apple this time. And because an apple is different from an orange, it's now distinguished. And so once again, the police officer gets a free pass. And there are some circuits that do this so stringently that they will say, oh, well, the first time he stole a round orange. Well, this orange is oblong. And because it's oblong and it's not round, it's distinguished. And so they really love to split hairs to the finest detail when it benefits enforcing immunity.
So what's the remedy for this?
But the remedy is these things have to be removed from the record. We have to overturn Bradley v. Fisher, right? And we have to say that the 11th Amendment is unconstitutional because, of course, people of a state and of another state can sue their government for a grievance when that government makes a mistake. Of course, the government is held accountable to the people. Because if we keep it the way it is now, the government no longer serves the people. It is the people serving the government, which is not what we created. We created government to make our lives better, not for us to make the lives of the government better. And so we need to flip the roles back to the way they're supposed to be, where we have a government that's subservient to the people.
I was waiting to see what. Yeah, I'm waiting for her mouth to go.
Oh no, I agree. I just want to say, Danielle, did you give me that meeting yet? Did you get us that meeting? Go ahead.
So until then, though,
no, I agree with him.
I know, but until then, until we get these things overturned and done, what is out there that people can use to fight places like CPS to hold accountable these government agencies?
Well, I made some tools to really help make this system a lot easier. And so I made a tool that's at the Institute for Family Justice, FJ.org, instituteforfamilyjustice.org. And I call this tool Rosie. And I can briefly show you this platform real quick and kind of what it does. You know, so you log in, and you can go in and you can go into your case. You can do some case management stuff. You know, I uploaded like 95 files of my case, and it automatically took all those files and scanned them for what they were, and made little things like, oh, an attorney appeared on this date, and it built the timeline for me. You know, and it goes through all the different things that did that automatically, which is really great. It also will manage your calendar for upcoming court dates, so you know, like when you have to have a filing in by and all the different things. In addition to that, you know, you can put in your custody schedule of your children, so you can say, you know, when you're supposed to see your kids and all of that, and you can record a log. So if you got your parenting time, you know, whether you had it or not. So if you're denied your parenting time, you can say when you were denied, you know, and then it was your regular schedule, and then, you know, did you get it or not, you know, and all the different things. You got part of it. You could type in like, what happened? Why was it denied? Was there an excuse? Just to keep a nice little record to make it really easy on you to log all of these very important things. And so once you do that and you have a nice little thing here, we can go ahead and do some pattern analysis on it. And we can look at the timeline, we can look at the communications, we can look at the access log, and we can look for patterns of behavior which may need to be raised. You know, if you miss your parenting time once, you know, that could be explained, that could be excused. People make mistakes. None of us are perfect. But, you know, if you can prove like over time you have this clear and convincing pattern of evidence, that's very strong. And so we can analyze the behavior, and then we can automatically generate motions to help you like enforce your rights. And so we can go into here and go into what I call the ban hammer, which is case strategy, you know, and you can select your case, and you can type in your objective, like, I want more time with my children. Okay, and then, you know, you can get some strategy suggestions. And it's going to analyze all of your documents, all of your communications, and jurisdiction-specific information. So this will pull all of the appellate court cases, all the Supreme Court cases from your state that are relevant. It's going to pull the rules of court, professional conduct, judicial canons, everything that's important going on in your case. In addition to your state, it also pulls from the circuit you're part of. So the federal appellate circuit is also binding for your state. So it'll pull all of the appellate circuit cases that are important and any Supreme Court cases that are important. And it'll really help you look through this. And it says, well, look, you've been seeking custody of my kids. There were a whole bunch of CPS investigations that were found to be unfounded, you know, specifically reports that I had abused my children, and I took a polygraph and I passed it. This is all documents that it pulled. This is all documents from my timeline uploaded that it indexed, learned, and, you know, gave me information about. And then it says, well, here's some things you can do. You know, you can start a motion to change custody and parenting time. I could try and lift the sanctions that were put on me, right? And when you go to do these preparations here, it knows, like in Michigan, you have to prove proper cause and change of circumstance. You have best interest factors. Well, it takes you through a questionnaire where it asks you, well, what circumstances have changed? You know, what best interest factors do you want to say here? And so you go through to answer all these questions, and it builds you a motion that you can review to see if you want to use it in court. You know, right here. So has there been any change since in the parent living arrangements, right? Has there been any changes in the school or educational? And it even tells you this is to identify change of circumstances, right? It talks about the parent's ability and stability, you know. And we go down here, and it should go into the, you know, love and affection, right? Because that's a best interest factor. It goes into you know, continuing education, the ability to provide clothing, food for the needs of the kids, and really helps you check every box that needs to be checked in a motion for you and potentially against the other parent. So if the other parent, you know, doesn't take care of the kids well or is extremely hostile towards you, you put that in there. If you take care of the kids well and you're very accepting of the other parent, you put these things in there, and it builds you emotion. I can show you one that I already started working on here, and it generated this one for me. So put the intro, you know, statement of facts, you know, the proper cause of change of circumstances with the state codes that matter for that, and then the best interest factors and points for every best interest factor that was relevant. And, you know, it puts all of these things in here and builds you out the motion, asks for the wherefore clause, you know, and then if you want to edit it, it's just got a little editor in here. And we just go ahead and, you know, I can just like put in my email address, you know. If I type correctly, that would be all right. Oh. So this is still in development. Looks like I got a little bug here, but let's do this.
And how much does this cost people?
Nothing. This is free.
Somebody says, does it only do stuff like CPS?
So it doesn't specifically target CPS things. Yeah, you could use it for CPS, but this specifically targets like divorce and child custody issues where you're arguing against the other parent. I'm going to be expanding to be able to put all the things that are relevant for CPS in there as well. That's up and coming. But, you know, these are all things that are in development. And my first goal, my first target with this was just to be able to give parents what they need to be able to go ahead and litigate inside a family court to advocate for the rights of their children and themselves. In addition to that, you know, I'm building in a civil rights builder, so it's going to analyze your case. That's going to look for intentional infliction of emotional duress cases if the other party is just using the children to hurt you. And it also will look for civil rights violations, you know, and help draft motions and stuff for that. So that's in development right now. And
that's when I had talked to him today, and after I had talked to him and did the research, that's what I thought was so great, because with the CPS Punisher app, it's specifically CPS, defense strategy, all of that stuff. And then to have something like this on top of that to go with your visitation, I mean, that stuff has it in the CPS Punisher app, but not in detail like this guy has here, like Derek's done. He's done a fabulous job with like making the case for, you know, spending the time with your kids, doing the right thing as parenting, because that's something that's needed. You know, like you need to have that. You need to have that. You know, like you don't. It's not just all fight in the courtroom, and you know, try to win your rights back. There's a lot of proving grounds in there, and to have something additional like this, you know, to keep track of and analyze, you know, what they're doing in such ways of visitation, it's just awesome. So it's just a good way to these tools that are up and coming and that are coming out, that you can work together, and it's going to be a great thing. Like they're not going to stand a chance.
yeah. Right. This is, you know, and this tool has a lot more great features. So let's say you're new to this, you don't want to do. So we got this community help platform in here. You can go into the community help platform, and you know, you could post a request for help. You know, maybe you need just some advice and guidance. Maybe you need some help doing some research. Maybe you wrote a document, but you want somebody else to be able to review it for you. You can put that in here, put what you have in there and their importance, and people can go ahead and apply for it. And then they could, you know, give you the help you're looking for. And then they could rate you on the quality of help you've been given. You can, you know, get points, you know, for how much help you've been giving. People got a nice little leaderboard here to track the helpers and how much help they've been giving, you know. And we're going to be implementing, we haven't done it yet. If someone gives you a lot of great help, you know, and they've really taken a lot of stress off your life, you know, if you want to give them a tip, we're going to build that into the platform. So you can go ahead and tip somebody that wants to help you, or, you know, and so, you know, you can buy them a coffee or whatever, you know. It's not mandatory. You don't have to do it. There's a lot of people that just give freely, but if you do feel compelled to give somebody, you know, you can give them a little tip or whatever. And so we're building that into the platform.
That's cool stuff, man.
And somebody, can you put his link up there? Somebody said I was late to the show. Where can I find this?
FJ.org, Institute for FamilyJustice.org. You click on Rosie there at the top. It's a 2-tier process. You have to create an account and then fill out an application. I see the application and then I approve those, you know, because this isn't just supposed to be a chatbot for people to talk to. I've got a lot of great tools back in here. And so I'm going to look at your case, and I do make the determination to approve you, and then you're in, you know. I just don't want the spammers or people just creating a whole bunch of accounts, you know. And so I review every account, and then I just approve it, you know, as long as you're not fake.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
You gotta watch those trolls, because they're trying to steal your information.
Right? Well, you know, and so this is a highly secure platform. I started with security in mind. All of your data isn't even stored on this server. It's on another server that only the server has access to, inside of a private subnet, air-gapped from the internet, with enterprise-grade security. I'm doing disaster recovery backups, you know, and so I've got all types of security measures built into this. There's 2-factor authentication. We can do FIDO2 security keys, you know, and so we incorporate the latest in security technology to make sure your files stay private. And in addition to that, also, maybe you want somebody to have access to your case. Maybe you've got a lawyer and you put together all of this work. Well, you can add your lawyer onto your case as a viewer, a commenter, or an editor, and so that you can choose who gets access to your files. Or maybe somebody's helping you and you want them to see your timeline. Well, you can give them access to your case. You can choose which case they get access to, and then they could view your timeline. They can view your documents. And you can choose whether they can view them, whether they comment on them, or whether they can edit them. And so we've got that built into the platform right now.
That's good stuff, man.
Thanks.
It is. It's good stuff. It is really good. And that's going to help so many. I mean, this stuff is going to help so many people. I'm just like I said, I'm just glad that good people like ourselves have got these things and made it so that it's touchable for people, and not like those that would grab a hold of it and make it skyrate. Like the CPS Punisher strategy app it has Court Listener. It's upgraded with Court Listener. It's integrated with Court Listener. It beats Westlaw. It beats all of those things. And some of those things people can't even afford. People can't afford Westlaw. They can't afford those things. Like they love to try to get their case look, but there's enough information in your app. There's enough information in my app that they're not paying astronomical fees for this stuff. Like that they would have to. So chances are good that our lives are going to be at risk once these things launch. But I mean, it is what it is.
Wow. The only thing that's going to happen is you get evicted from hell. And so whatever. You're so righteous that the devil can't handle you anymore and they evict you from hell. Amen.
Right.
Screw that. Who cares
well,
about
that's this
that?
place that we're on, right?
I mean, it's pretty bad right now. Let me tell you what, we have a lot of room to make it better. And you're right about the cost. So, the closest best AI that I've used, the legal AI, is the one by LexisNexis Protege, which is really good, actually. But they want $900 a month. And the platform that I built just blows it away. And I'm just giving it away to parents. If parents are using this for your family court matter, you're using this to be with your kids, this is yours. This is for you.
Yep. No, that's good. I'm glad that you're doing that, man. That's really good. Do you have a CPS case yourself?
No, I've had CPS called on me a bazillion times. I've taken polygraphs and all the things, and they've never once have actually had a case against me, but they've had a lot of complaints because the mother of my children has been very adversarial and loves to stir up trouble. And so I have a vested interest in this, I've done IT for 30 years, I have a lot of experience in the IT field. And I've taken all of my knowledge and IT background and how to build and make and manage systems and just applied it to what I've learned about the judiciary and family court and made a tool to make this a lot easier than it currently is.
Oh, man, that's really cool.
Well, I definitely know for somebody who can break into her email and fuck her whole life up, she really shouldn't be fucking with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't hack. But she has actually, funny enough, accused me of hacking into the FBI. And I think it's so funny that she wants to accuse me of hacking into the FBI as the reason why our kids can't have a cell phone I provide to them so that they can call me, which was a court order. I find it so funny that she accuses me of hacking to the FBI. But if I did such a thing, I would think that, maybe I would just have the FBI arrest her and she would be in jail. But I don't do that because that's not what I do. I'm not a hacker. I build and I engineer systems. I'm a systems engineer. I'm a network engineer. I'm a wireless engineer. I'm not a security engineer. I don't go around pen testing things. I don't go around hacking things. So that's not what I do. That's not my skill set. I do provide security services through partners and Knox. That is their specialty, but I just resell those. And I find it hilarious, once again, that she has literally accused me of hacking the FBI.
Well, if you did, the good thing about that is they would just hire you.
Well, maybe after I was in prison. But let me tell you what, being in IT, if you get one hacking charge, one fraud charge, your career is over. And so what do I want to do? I want to risk everything for a little SNGs, for a little, right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am way too conservative to risk everything over something so petty.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's 1 month today, right? 1 month birthday today for your nonprofit.
I did. So I turned 42 on November 22nd of last month, And on my birthday, I got the best letter I've ever received from the IRS, which was my nonprofit determination letter, granting me tax exempt status, allowing me to go full bore with this project and be able to solicit donations to help it run that people can deduct from their taxes and be able to operate tax free. And so I'm proud to say that I am a 501c3 nonprofit and that I'm building this as a tax deductible, or this is for the community, and any kind of contributions are 100% tax deductible.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is good
Yeah, we're
stuff,
supposed
man.
to be working on that, huh, Darren?
We are. We're just waiting. Now we're waiting. The waiting game.
Yeah, I had to do that for a while too. Yeah, it took me
Yeah.
almost a year. It was about 11 months. 11 months
Yep.
before I got my letter in the mail.
They take their checks right quick though.
Yeah, they did the filing fee. Yeah, they want that first.
Yeah. They want that right away.
Yeah.
So that's just it. But I mean, what else? What do you see on your horizon? What are you trying to grow? Are you just trying to grow? What do you see in your future? What do you want to be in 5 years?
Oh, in 5 years? Well, I'd like to see myself have raised enough money to where I have multiple cases pending before the Supreme Court, and have, or will be about to have, Supreme Court opinions that have restored the rights of children and their parents inside a family court. I love to see that the standard get raised to beyond a reasonable doubt in any case where a child's going to be denied access to their parent. I want to see the right to representation to be enforced for any time a child's going to lose anything less than 50-50 time with their parent. I want to see the right to a trial by jury restored to family court, because, we have these judges and they're the lone decider of a lot of these cases, and they have good days, they have bad days, they're not flawless, they don't always catch everything. And so I really want to see trials by juries restored to family court.
You say restored. You say restored. Were they ever a thing in the family court?
If, in my opinion, absolutely, because if number one, they're accused of the crime of not being a good enough parent, so I say that's criminal. Number two, we have the right to a trial by jury in all cases that are greater than $20. And let me tell you what, your children are worth more than $20. And if you want to think about child support, I don't know anybody that only pays less than $20 a month in child support. So of course the matter of controversy is greater than $20.
Mm-hmm.
And so that right exists. It just needs to be in place. It needs to be enforced.
I said the same thing, but I left out the child support. I said, you mean a child's life is not worth more than $20?
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. What we have going on is absolute travesty. They literally turn the tears of our children into gold.
I gotta say, man, you stop this money train that they've got going on, you disrupt this whole economy. This whole country would bankrupt, man. This is all built on human trafficking. I'm convinced of that. There's and the numbers that we see are only numbers that they allow us to see. Like I said to you earlier today when we were talking, we don't see the $1,000 that the nurse gets for calling CPS saying, no, we got a mom here that's tested positive in drug tests. We don't see the corrupt dollars that are going through, the black market money that's going through the system to make it where it is. And that's where, as long as there's money involved in this, you're going to have this type of things going on. I mean, it's a viable product.
That's why we have to remove profit from justice, because as long as there's profit in justice, there'll be no justice.
Mm-hmm. That's the facts. But how do we go about that? That's a whole nother fish to fry, really.
Sure. Well, I have another project that I'm working on that I think will help, which I call the People's Lawyer Association. And so the Bar Association, has already ruled that it's a trade union. It's subject to antitrust laws. In this case, it was a Virginia case, the Virginia State Bar case. And they were trying to say that there's mandatory minimums attorneys had to charge for doing a title search. I think it was like 1% of the property value or something like that. And somebody sued over that. And the Supreme Court did say that, they can't do that they're subject to antitrust laws and they're a trade union. And so I've created an agency I call the People's Lawyers Association, which is competition for the Bar Association. We're putting together a testing-based accreditation. It's pure testing. You don't have to go to an ABA-approved law school. You just have to study for the test however you like to study. Pass the different tests. You'll have tests on being able to do legal research, being able to write motions, knowing trial court procedure, knowing appellate court procedure, being able to pass an ethics test, understand ethics and how important they are. And, and then we have a model ordinance that counties can pass in their county saying that, to inspire a free market, to allow competition, to reduce the cost of legal fees for the people of this county, we accept people that are accredited by the People's Lawyers Association to also practice law in this county and to be able to represent clients and to give legal advice. And so I've created the People's Lawyers Association, which is a people's-based union to be able to accredit people and their knowledge and competency in the expertise of law.
I need to take that course.
Woo, Lord Almighty. Heavens and Murgatroyd. Yeah, we need to get you in here more often talking about that, because that sounds like that's what we need to do. I mean, you got to have something to replace the bar. Everybody's talking about break down the bar, but there's got to be something.
You can't replace it, because if you replace one monopoly with another, in 100 years, you're not going to be in a better place. What we've learned by capitalism and the way that capitalism truly works is to have a free market so people always aspire to be the best. And so you can't replace one monopoly with another, because they will just get corrupt, fat, and lazy. And so you have to have at least two agencies, so you don't disband the Bar Association. You adopt alternatives. And one of the alternatives, the alternative that I've created, is the People's Lawyers Association. And just allow the free market to reign, and allow people that want to practice law choose the union they want to be part of. They could be part of both, or as many as there are if they want, and then let the free market decide and let people compete for who the best lawyers are.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any legs on this? I mean, is this going anywhere? Is this still an idea, or what is it? Where does this stand?
I got a website, peopleslawyer.org. I've got a model ordinance drafted. I'm working with some law professors to create the testing to make sure we have tests that are really great for this. And I've got a model ordinance drafted, and so we're going to work with some county commissioners, the board of commissioners, and we're gonna introduce it to counties to get it passed. Once we get the tests ready, we're going to go to some people that were lawyers that are members of the bar, ask them to get dual tested, to get dual accredited, to get it accredited in the PLA as well, and then be willing to come here and do some test cases in a county once we get it going. And that's all up and coming, and it's moving fast.
That's great. That's good stuff. Man, it's about time someone comes out with some of this stuff. What are you thinking about, Tiff? I see
I'm
smoke
trying to
coming out of
find
your
the
head.
People's Lawyers Association. It didn't come up.
That's peopleslawyer.org. Peopleslawyer.org. I didn't put the word association in there because it would have been too much to type, because then you're like typing for days and it's more room for typos. But it's peopleslawyer.org.
Peopleslawyers.org.
Lawyer, plural or singular.
Lawyer, people lawyer, peopleslawyer.org. Man, that's freaking awesome, man. What
I'll just,
oh yeah, do you have it up? You want to pop it up? There you go.
There we go, right here.
Yeah.
This is break the monopoly, democratize justice. They're a trade guild, and so you can come here and you can view the ordinance. Here's the case right here. Go for Virginia State Bar. Legal services are a trade. They're subject to antitrust laws. They're a monopoly. If we take a case to the Supreme Court, we might be able to force the Bar Association to split off and make a whole bunch of the bar join the PLA just so we have a free market, kind of like what happened to Microsoft, where it got forced to break up. Maybe we can force the Bar Association to have a divorce.
That's really cool. Using resources, man. Using resources.
I love it. Darren, I sent it to your email.
All right, cool. That's good. Man.
I love it. I'm so happy that you came on tonight.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's so good. I'm glad.
And even though you're not doing right now, quote unquote, CPS, you're still dealing with the same court systems that dependency courts are in. So it's all one court system.
It is.
And that's great.
Yeah, and parents can use this tool. They can build their timelines out. They can still build motions, but it's currently set up to go against the other party. But it will be curtailed and have all the specific nuances for CPS cases as well. But they have their own policies and procedures, and so I have to build out special databases with the CPS manuals for every state. And,
I have API keys for that.
Okay, I'll be curious to talk to you about what you got. Yeah.
And then he needs to get with Osiris, because he's got all the child support manuals.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. And I'd love to turn those into databases that I use when we're doing the AI work because we query databases because, a lot of things that the AI does, if it's unchecked, unregulated, it loves to hallucinate. Well, the way I built this
Yeah.
platform and all the ways it works together with all the different databases I created is that it only speaks about the databases that I give it and the case files that you give it. So it doesn't really have the ability to hallucinate.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know if yours is like this, but I know like the CPS Punisher app, as you add more into it, it collects all that data and it gets it stronger. It gets it smarter. It sees different ways that people are being attacked by CPS, and then it puts it into that. It puts it into that as a strategy. Like it's seeing different ways that they're fighting them, different ways that they're using them as it analyzes documents, as it sees, what different people are sending. Because I'm sure just like yours, you put up any document that you have that involves your case, you put it in there and it analyzes it and groups it together and figures out what's going on for you, correct?
So it does it for you, but I keep all of your data segregated from everybody else's data, and so there's no commingling of data. And so in order for me to do that, I'd have to have people specifically flip a switch saying that they do not mind if their data is private, and then we can scan it and look for pattern analysis to help everybody. But for privacy's sake, everybody's data stays isolated so that your case only stays inside of your specific little section.
Yep. Yep. It's good stuff. It is good stuff because the thing is they're ahead of us all the time.
Not
They're
anymore.
They're
Not
no,
anymore.
hopefully not.
They're not.
But
I know because I've used their tools and I've done IT for 30 years and I move faster than a 300-year corporation that has to go through boards and proposals and all these things before they move. I can move at the speed of light.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
And actually, I like to say I move at the speed of causality, which is actually faster than light.
So our other Jonathan, who's a regular on our show, he said he would like to get up with you about doing stuff in Canada.
Okay. Oh, and I'm adding Canada because I got a lot of parents in Canada, a lot of advocacy work. And so I'm adding Canada in there. I'm adding Alberta and Ontario. And so that's up and coming too very soon. We're doing the initial relaunch. This is getting its full public release here on Christmas. This is my Christmas present to all the families in America. And, Canada's coming next. And then the rest of the world. But Canada's next.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Canada, they're coming. We're coming. I know I got to get a hold of Josie too. Absolutely. I need to talk to her. But yeah, this is great, man. I'm so glad that we got to meet today. I'm so glad that we got you to come on tonight. And I'm so glad that I can see a good future coming. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. We got a lot of room to grow, and it's time. We got a great field. We got to water these seeds, and we're ready to sprout. Sprout into a whole new world.
Yep. Oh, it's so exciting. It really is. Finally something to work in our favor and give people hope back.
Absolutely.
Because so many have lost their hope, because of all of this.
Right. And a lot of people, they get their rights taken away. They have either it's their attorneys or the judges or the caseworkers abuse them and do their rights. So one of the features I didn't touch on that I've implemented is as it's scanning your cases, as it's analyzing your transcripts, it's always looking for violations. So it's looking for judicial canon violations. It's looking for attorney professional code of conduct violations. It's looking for violations from the guardian ad litem's on your case or the other party. And as it finds violations in a pattern of behavior, it tells you, hey, I found these things. Would you like me to put together a complaint? You can tell it yes. It'll put together the complaint with your exhibits. And so you'll be able to send that complaint to whatever agency that you want and to file complaints against these people, because that's very important, is to be holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And one more big tool that I didn't talk about is the day of court playbook. The day of court playbook, you put together your motion, right? Well, and then you have your evidence that's going to be submitted. Well, it puts together a playbook. Let's say you're the petitioner, so you're going to speak first, right? Well, it helps you put together your little speech that you say, and the other party's going to put it in their speech. And then, you're going to have witnesses. You're going to ask them questions. You're going to try to put evidence on the record. Well, when you go to put evidence on the record, you have to say specific words to have that evidence authenticated, whether it's by the witness or you or whoever can authenticate the evidence, So it helps you say those magic words, by letting you know what they would be. and then also tells you potential objections the other party might make, and
Yeah.
how to overcome any potential objections. And as it learns your case and the other counsel, it looks at the transcripts to see if there's any evidence that got on the record that shouldn't be there, and lets you know objections that you need to make that you didn't make before, whether it was you or you have an attorney. So if you have an attorney, that's really great. You just have your playbook, you're right next to your attorney, and you just check all the boxes and you listen to them. And if they miss something, you just kind of nudge them a little bit and be like, hey, look, you got to do this. Don't forget about this, right? And so you have that playbook to make sure they're actually performing for you to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. That is so great. Gotta love this technology.
No, yeah, it's great.
Love the technology. And we're using it for the good. We're using it for the good side of things, man. You know what I mean? And that's what's important.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely what is the important thing about all of this, is that we are using this all for the important stuff.
Yeah, we're using it to literally save all of the children of society. If we don't take care of our children, we don't have a society to speak of. And every family needs this. No family should be going through all this controversy. And the worst part is this arena. At certain points in history, 80% of our politicians have been members of the Bar Association. All of our judiciary is part of the bar, of course. And they only profit as an organization. They only do well when we have reasons to argue. And the more reasons we have to argue, the better they do. And you take a relationship when it splits, which is already difficult enough, but then you throw in controversy and the fact that you can say that you're slightly better than the other person, you can nitpick them to death, and you'll say that will give you an advantage. So instead of you being able to get over the breakup and heal, you have to stay constantly on the offensive and on guard against all of these piddly attacks, because these attacks generate $200, $300, $400 an hour in legal fees, and it doesn't allow the relationship in the family to heal after a breakup. It inflames it for absolutely as long as possible at $400 plus an hour.
Damn. That's awesome. Love it. Well, Tiff, what do you think? You got any more questions for our man, Jonathan?
No, just you need to come back.
Yeah.
Actually, you just need to work with us. I mean, I'm just
Yeah, let's talk about what we got going on and what we can do together and how we can collaborate. That's great. I'd love to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be in touch with you. I'll shoot you an email tomorrow, and let's get working on this stuff, man.
All right, very good. Well, thanks for having me on, both of you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
We love you. Everybody loves you.
That's right.
No. Some people want to cut me up into little pieces and send me.
They said don't fight the system.
No. We don't do that here, man. No swimmings.
They said stay quiet.
Do you love me or you hate me?
They were wrong.
And if you're corrupt, you definitely
Lock
can.
in. We are exposing what so many have failed to. We are going to show you what bar attorneys have hidden from all of us. Hundreds of thousands of children and twice that of parents have been lied to and walked down the road of termination. It's the death penalty. We're all of the protesters, the ones who fight for the rights of prisoners, dogs, illegal immigrants. Why aren't you coming to the aid of our children and families? Right here in America, every day a child per minute is kidnapped.
And no one cares. We fight alone until today. CPS punishers mount up. Here comes the CPS Punisher.
Anonymous tip, another lie from one of them. No warrant, no proof, just a badge and a grin. Stealing kids like trophies, thinking they'll win. Mama crying on the porch, daddy in the cage. System wrote the script, but the CPS Punisher just flipped the page. The educator they banned, I see every violation, every forged line, every ex-part hearing, every stolen time. One tap of the app and the truth ignites. Welcome to the CPS Punisher, now we can fight.
CPS and the courts have lied to us all.
CPS Punisher, here to avoid the chains and expose the game. CPS Punisher, the educator they never wanted you to find. Punisher, one tap and their empire cracks. We realize we take our kids back. The app is called the CPS Punisher. I'm the in the shadows, a skull in the night. The binder full of secrets and weapons you all need. Ab initio, watch me void that lie. Fourth Amendment armor, watch the tyrants cry. Falsified drug test, gone in a flash. I see Tevio, warrior, due process king. Every parent hero when the hotline rings. I call it justice. Download the truth, now the system busts us. From the courtroom to the streets, hear the battle cry. The CPS punishers arrive. Kiss your bar asses goodbye. They tried to silence us. Now we're the loudest voice in the room. CPS Punisher, here to avoid the chains and expose the game. CPS Punisher, the educator they never wanted you to find. Born as her, the children never leave again. Families rise, we never look back. We now use the CPS Punisher. This ain't revenge, this is reunification. This ain't rage, this is resurrection. Open the app, step into the fight. You ready? CPS Punisher! The app you need when they took your kid. CPS Punisher! The truth they hid, now the truth gets lit. Punisher! Download the power, take back the throne. Punisher! You're never alone. CPS Punisher, the educator they never wanted you to find. Void complete, family restored. The bar is finished, the Constitution will prevail. Judges do what's right. Treason is your penalty. Here comes the CPS Punisher.